Athletics Now presents Running the Show, which takes a look at some of the top stories in the world of running for the first week of January 2012. Our look includes Xiamen, China, and the 10th edition of the Xiamen Marathon. Running the Show takes a look at two New Year's Eve runs. First, Madrid, Spain, for the South Silvestre 10-kilometer road race where more than 30,000 runners flood the streets of Spain's capital city. And the second of the Saints' Day runs, we check out the Sao Paulo, Brazil 86th edition of the San Silvestre 15-kilometer road race. The first race of the 2012 cross-country season is our next destination, as we check out San Giorgio, Lugano, Italy, for the 55th annual Campaccio International Cross-Country Run. A little to the west, we find an exciting day of running in Edinburgh, Scotland. It's the Bupa Great Cross Country Run, featuring the biggest assortment of stars on the cross-country pitch this early in the season. A true international field of the best in male and female cross-country running. Back on the continent, we stop in the small town of Egmond aan Zee in the Netherlands for the Egmond Half Marathon, featuring world-class runners putting their indelible stamp on a beach course in record time. Finally, we stop in New York City for the New York Roadrunners annual Emerald Nuts New Year's Eve Midnight Run. Jiangnan, China is the setting for the 10th annual Jiangnan Marathon. This IAAF Gold Label road race is one of the largest full marathons in the world, hosting more than 50,000 runners. Despite the ideal weather conditions of 13 degrees centigrade, the men's race was a tactical affair, as the first 5 kilometers was passed in 15 minutes 34 seconds, and the breezy 30:41 10K was a bit on the pedestrian side for runners of this caliber, which included the 2:07 marathoner, Kenyan Dixon Chumba. To shake things up a bit, Francis Kiprop decided to add a bit of industrial strength speed to the mix and passed the 31-kilometer mark in 1:33:48. And the pack of 4 Kenyans and 1 Ethiopian turned into 2 Kenyans. Samuel Turi of Kenya tried to hang but was regulated to the second medal as Kiprop dashed his hopes along with the rest of the supporting cast. Kiprop crossed the line in the course and personal record of 2:07:37 to gain an extra prize of $40,000. Still not good enough to make the Kenyan Olympics marathon squad, perhaps the toughest team in the world to make. The women's race would not provide the excitement of the men's, as the leader, 27-year-old Ethiopian Asin Kazi, took the lead at 26 kilometers and never surrendered the top step. She was just off the course record as she crossed the finish line in a personal best of 2 hours, 23 minutes, and 9 seconds, her second major marathon title. Running the Show now heads to the largest city in Spain, Madrid, and the 47th edition of the San Silvestre 10K road race. The Spanish version of the Brazilian Saint Silvestre road race features bands and celebrities at the start and is more like a New Year's party than a race. The Madrid Silvestre is now the largest of the New Year's Day races worldwide, and it attracts more than 36,000 runners to the start of the mass race. The New Year's Eve darkness of exactly 8 p.m. brings on the challenge of the elite start as more than 1,000 serious road racers head for the finish 10 kilometers away at the Reyes football stadium. The men's lead pack composed a closely held group of 8 runners featuring Kenyan Teklemari Medini and a young unheralded star from Ethiopia, Hagos Gabrielwad, who was running way above his previous efforts. However, the enthusiastic Spanish crowd was getting a little crazy as all eyes were focused on the form of Ayat Lamison, the Spanish runner who had fallen behind but had climbed back into the mix with 200 meters to go just before the stadium entrance. Now a 3-man race again, Lamison was poised to become the first Spanish winner since 2003. But Hagos and Mehdi raced away again in the final stretch. It was now a 70-meter sprint, but the 19-year-old Ethiopian was able to just snip the 22-year-old Kenyan at the line to take the 10K win in 27:57. The women's race would prove just as exciting as the men's, as another upstart, Galeta Burka, was out to defeat double Olympic champion Turanish Dibaba. Dibaba was able to put away the youngster with the final burst, crossing the line in a 1 in 10K mark of 31:30. Running the show now heads to Brazil and the largest city in the country, Sao Paulo, for the 86th edition of the San Silvestre 15-kilometer road race. The San Silvestre, or St. Sylvester Road Race, is the oldest and most illustrious street race held in Brazil. The race is considered the granddaddy of all the New Year's Eve road races. The race has gone from a start of less than 119.25 to more than 25,000 runners in this year's edition. The women's elite race starts before the mass start and featured Kenya's Priska Jeptu, the current marathon world champion silver medalist. Running in her shadow is 2008 champion of this race, Ethiopian Wood Eyalu. The feature of the men's race was a cast of notable Kenyans. However, defending champion and Brazilian Marisol dos Santos was expected to break the Kenyan dominance again this year, but dos Santos fell out of contention early in the race. The women's race evolved into an all-out sprint between Jeptu and Eyalu. Jeptu seemed to lose form, but she maintained her lead and was able to cross the line in the fastest 15 kilometers ever recorded in Brazil. The men's side turned into an Ethiopian affair as the famous Bekele brother, that is Tarika Bekele, had to not only defeat a pack of 3 Kenyans, but torrential Brazilian summer rains that pounded the course for the last 4 kilometers. Bekele was able to persevere the challenge and crossed the line first in a 15-kilometer time of 43 minutes and 35 seconds. Bekele, the brother of a triple Olympic gold medalist, has now recorded his first major road win. The 55th annual Kampashio International Cross Country meeting turned into a three-way sprint, with Kenyan Edwin Soy crossed the line first in 29:13 in this 10K cross country classic. The women's 6-kilometer long event witnessed Kenyan Mercy Sharono take the title in 19 minutes and 26 seconds. Running the show starts at the tiny Dutch town of Egmond aan Zee, the Egmond Half Marathon. The half is run mostly on sand, and this year was won by Ethiopian Dawit Wold. His time of 1 hour 46 seconds was a course record. The women's victory went to the Ethiopian Meseret Haile in a time of 1 hour 11 minutes and 18 seconds. Florence Kiplagat Kenya was second. Edinburgh, Scotland hosted the Great Bupa Cross Country Run, which featured Spanish star Aya Lemison winning the men's 8K long event in a time of 25 minutes 44 seconds from American Bobby Mack, who just edged out Belgium's Adelaide Bekele. Kira Bellarasa of the USA overtook Mark Shaw of England in the closing stages of the 6-kilometer junior men's race, winning in 19 minutes 54 seconds. The women's 6-kilometer event was filled with a host of up-and-coming stars, including England's latest find, Gemma Steele, but Ireland's Fiona Britton gradually pulled away from the field. Britton powered to the finish, a clear leader, covering the 6-kilometer course in 21 minutes 32 seconds, with Steele 20 seconds behind. But the event everyone was anticipating was the men's 3-kilometer race, which featured the double Olympic champion and double world record holder in the 5 and 10,000 meters, Nisa Bekele. Olympic 1500-meter champion and Kenyan Abel Kiprop was on hand to make a race of things, but Bekele was never a factor in the race. The crowds were left somewhat stunned as the Ethiopian lagged along the back of the pack, leaving one to wonder aloud about his fitness levels. Kiprop was challenged by numerous British runners like Ross Millington, not East Africans. Although East Africans still dominate international competition, lately we have seen many international runners challenge that supremacy. Kiprop was eventually able to secure the victory over a class field with a comfortable 3-kilometer win in 9 minutes 20 seconds. However, Kenyan Eliud Kipchoge had looked set to finish second, but he was overtaken on the line by British youngster Johnny Hay.